Now, international trade has been quite a big topic in the World Economic Forum here in Kigali, with East African states coming into sharp focus. And the question is, are we trading enough with each other? Do you think, with your experience in international trade, is East Africa trading enough?
First of all, a cure to any malady must be based on diagnosing the problem. So diagnosing limits on trade is the first step towards addressing them. Secondly, in spite of all the weaknesses, East Africa is the most internally traded part of Africa across the continent. There is no other region of Africa which trades with itself more than East Africa. The way trade contributes to a country's development is when you use trade to improve what you export. I said in a session today that it is a great story that we have cut down from 26 days to 6 days to move a container from Mombasa to Kigali. That's very good. But it will even be better if in 6 days a container from Kigali to Mombasa is full of merchandise from Rwanda. Not an empty container going to Mombasa to bring more goods from East Asia.
Now, as you say, of course, the EAC seems to be working, but critics now say that the cracks are beginning to show with, joint infrastructure projects, for instance, now taking a totally different direction. What are your thoughts on what's happening in that space?
First of all, connectivity is already there. Rwanda is exporting through Mombasa in a very efficient way. It will continue doing this for a long time to come. Secondly, East African integration was not pegged on a pipeline connecting Uganda to Mombasa, to the coast of Kenya. It is a project which was conceived and attempted in the context of the East African community. It was never the sine qua non of a successful community. I say that because Kenyans are looking at the neighbors who divert contracts as breach of an entitlement. There was never an entitlement. But also it's a wake-up call for Kenya. Similarly, Kenyan politicians immediately Lapset started, scrambled to grab land in Lamu, grab land in Isiolo, because they are waiting to sell off at high prices. Tanzania attempts to find the lowest cost way of availing land for a railway and a pipeline. Kenya has individuals who make buying of way leave for the construction of infrastructure more expensive than infrastructure itself. If short-sighted greed is overrunning public policy planning, you need a wake-up call, and a shock treatment like the loss of that pipeline is a useful indicator that you have to think twice. As a nation, do you value the project, or you just value what you'll put into your pocket as a spin-off from the project?
In what ways do you think this can be done right?
We are a country which has a capacity to do better than the overdevelopment of personal greed. Infrastructure projects have a long-term impact to the livelihoods of our children and posterity than the desire to make quick cuts by speculating on real estate so as to sell for the infrastructure. And mistakes that are made because of personal greed are costing us dearly. And they contributed not only to the high cost of the Mombasa Railway, they are partly making the option of Lapset project extremely high.